Hello, Happy New Year. Hope everyone's made it. Everyone's well and I don't like that lighting. Hang on. Let's get warm. There we go. Hi. Yes, Doctor Who review. She is back, as was Captain Jack, and yeah. So I guess we'll talk about it. Revolution of the Daleks. There are a lot of many R's of the Daleks. Huh. Sorry, I was going to make a mental list of how many there actually are that have got, there are a lot of the Dalek titles, and I can't think of them all offhand because there are too many. But yes, we're talking about Revolution of the Dalek, the one that's just finished. And so a couple of quick basic thoughts, and then we'll go into our spoilers. I'm going to try not to be quite as waffly as I normally am, just because I don't want to. Well, I say I don't want it. It's me. Hi, if you've never seen one of my reviews before, my name's Michelle, and I can get a bit waffly at the end. And if you have seen one of my reviews before, hi, welcome back. Glad you decided to come back. I suppose since we're now having this conversation, hit subscribe and press that like button and all the comments and engagement stuff that you're supposed to tell people to do, because that apparently makes you more popular on YouTube. And I still haven't worked out how to do properly. So a couple of initial thoughts. Captain Jack is back. John Barron is actually just in the credits. It's like Jodie Whittaker, Bradley Walsh, Tosin Cole, Mandip Gill, and John Barrowman. So I didn't mention this in the previous episode where he turned up, but we haven't really seen him properly since Miracle Day. I'm not going to go too deep into that because it's been a while since I've seen Miracle Day, but quick thoughts on that. Didn't hate it, but it was an interesting concept. Kind of went in weird directions, and it didn't stick the landing as far as I was concerned. It was a lot of interesting things, like the conversations they had, like some of the moral, ethical conversations that were had, were genuinely interesting and intriguing in presentation. But yeah, it was a spongy ending, and we do get to... Jack does talk about a couple of other things. Obviously, this episode involves Daleks, and Jack has a history of Daleks. That conversation comes up. But we don't really know what he's been up to between the end of Miracle Day and when he turned up in the previous episode, and then turning up here. Well, we know a little bit what he did turning up here. So, Miracle Day. It's alright. If you like Torchwood, it's definitely worth checking out, just to say you've seen it. But good ideas, badly executed towards the end. Also, I don't know if this is necessarily a spoiler. So I'm gonna hold this up for a second while I say it, and then if you don't want to hear it for now, then I'm gonna, you can get past this part. We had a teaser after the episode where we get a shot of some bloke saying, reading out your star sign, and like, the colour blue and letter D and the number 13 and all this stuff. And then we see the person he's talking to, and it's John Bishop, who I like as a comedian. And I know there's a lot of comedians that are good actors. I mean, Bradley Walsh, for example. It was very good. I've not seen, that I'm aware of. No, I don't think I have seen. I haven't seen I haven't seen John Bishop acting in anything. So I'm intrigued, because I do like him as a comedian and think he's an interesting person, but I've not seen him as an actor outside of comedy or whatever. Now, I'm sure he has got some credits, and after this I'll go look them up. But John Bishop, I'm intrigued. So that's that. So yeah, other non-spoilery stuff. I liked it. I actually genuinely thought this was a fun episode. There's some kind of political stuff. You see that in the trailer, the PM some stuff about timing that I'm not entirely sure about, because it starts more or less. There's some stuff at the beginning. It starts more or less on New Year's Day. The boys come in and say to Yaz, "Oh, hey, Happy New Year." And she's like, "Oh, when did it become New Year?" And we do find out it has been 10 months since the Doctor left or was separated from them. So yeah, the lady that we see at the beginning, like the one you see as PM, she's literally just been elected into office, and I can't recall any time we've had an election this close to Christmas New Year. And I'm not saying it's never happened, and maybe someone could say, well, actually it happened like a couple of, don't you remember a few years ago? Like, no. Just the idea of having an election around the holiday season, I'm not saying it hasn't happened, I just don't recall it happening. Also, in this version, I mean, obviously this Earth isn't our Earth. It never really has been. It's as close as you can get without being exact. And as far as I can tell, the Lager Lurgy, the whole COVID thing doesn't exist in this universe. It doesn't get addressed in any way. There's no social distancing of any kind. In fact, there's a few scenes where there are people crowded together and they're not wearing masks. Well, there's one scene at the beginning where they are wearing masks, but that's a demo thing. Yeah, there's no social distancing, them, no mask wearing, no stay 2 meters apart, none of the sort of stuff that we've seen around everywhere. So there's that. But yeah, so yeah, basic initial thoughts. I liked it. It was enjoyable. I'm just trying to think, is there any bits that I would say, well, that didn't quite work. But actually, no, I think the story was quite clever. I think it did what it needed to do and did it quite well. So yeah, just try anything else non-spoilery. It was good. I enjoyed it. Chris Noth as Jack Robertson is also back, and he's slightly less annoying this time around. So that's fun. Yeah, no, I think that's it for the non-spoilery stuff. So would I recommend it? Yes, there is. It does go back to the previous special. Like it references that, and it's basically it carries on that story, and that really isn't a spoiler because you find that out in the first couple of minutes. I haven't seen that special since it was first on. I haven't rewatched it at all. So could you watch this cold? Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably, if you know enough about the characters, if you know the existence of Doctor Who, if you know, because Jack's introduced well enough that when he's explaining who he is, that you could watch this story without having seen, at the very least you can watch it without having seen the previous special, because it gives you a quick recap. So yeah, it was good. I liked it. Is it perfect? Probably not. Will I find flaws in it on rewatch? No doubt. But yeah, it was a pretty solid, fun hour 10, I think it was, a little over an hour. So yay. Excuse me. So I guess we'll hold up my sign. So we open with, like I said, a recap of the previous special with the Dalek invading GCHQ and Doctor and the fam basically destroying it. We then see that same Dalek, like it does. Oh, it's quite a good joke actually at the beginning. It's like a long time ago, far, far away, and it leaves that up for a minute, and it goes 2019, Wolverhampton, yeah. So that was kind of funny. It basically shows the cleanup crew taking away the shell of the Dalek, the Sheffield Steel Dalek, and did leave me the question of why didn't the Doctor take it herself and say, hey, we're gonna just, okay, we've destroyed it, now we're gonna chuck it into a Sarn. There is reference to the fact that they put the creature into a nova or something, but the shell itself was left. So they're taking it away. They're going go to Sector 23 or whatever, and they said, well, that hasn't been used in a while. So they said, well, there you go. So the driver stops off to get some more tea in his water bottle, which you see him drinking out of at the beginning, and he gets drugged and put back in the back of his van. Then we get on the title card, which is like 80 million light years away, and it's the Doctor in space jail. So we see a little bit of her routine. So she says hello to the cameras. She's given like food that she doesn't like. She's got, I think there's a day and night cycle. There's a thing with a dial. It goes around. They tell her to eat. They give her an exercise cycle. Jumping jacks. Presumably, she has showers and that. There is a scene where she's sent into a caged area, probably about 6x6, maybe 8x8, like just an area just to walk around, and it isn't her cell. So she does like a run around. She's like, "Oh, hello, Mavis," or whatever she called. There's a weeping angel that's got these cuffs on, which I guess is some kind of temporal locks. There's a bit of a flash where she sees it coming towards her, and then oh, hello, Bonnie and Clyde, and it's I think it's an Ood and maybe a Hoix. There's like two different species that kind of like gone crazy that are in another cage. So, well, hello, Tiny, how are you doing? And you can't eat the cage. Believe me, I've tried. And it's a Pating, which is kind of cute. And it's like, oh, okay, so all sad Pating. I mean, so we get to see that. We see, as I said, Yaz has kind of been obsessed with the Doctor, so she's kind of locked herself up in the new TARDIS. Because the boys come and visit her and the door opens automatically. And as she didn't know it was New Year's. She's like, when's it for New Year's? You've been sleeping in here. So despite the fact that the TARDIS looks like a house, I guess it didn't have red rooms because it looked like she was sleeping on the floor. And you never really work out exactly what she's doing. She's basically trying to track the Doctor or everything else that's happening on the planet. But she has basically like a conspiracy board, and it's all the stuff. You never see what's on it. But yeah, the boys come to talk to her about Robertson, who has, and this is maybe just me because in the initial, when we first see this lady, she's in the dark, and I can't tell if it's supposed to be the same person or a different person. But the person we see at the beginning doing the cleanup operation, I didn't check if it's the same actor. But basically, the lady that ends up becoming the new PM is brought in on the project to say, hey, look at this thing we've got. And it is the casing, the design of the Dalek being basically said, hey, we can make these into security droids. I said I didn't really have nitpicks. I do have one, and it's like, it's one of those questions that maybe it has been answered before, like, as a species, as a planet, we have had multiple encounters with the Daleks. Now I remember there was one episode. Yeah, I think it was a Matt Smith episode. Yeah, I think it was Victory of the Daleks. The Winston Churchill. There we go. Episode with when they were calling them Metrotrons. Where Amy didn't recognise them, and the Doctor was surprised by that. But at what point do we keep forgetting what Daleks are and knowing they're bad? So yeah, in theory, it is not an entirely terrible idea, such that have automatons. And this is what I alluded to before, they did have a scene with people in masks, but they were simulating a riot. So you had some people being coppers with riot shields, and then a whole bunch of other people, being protesters and throwing things at them. In theory, it kind of works, because in the laser gun, they had a water cannon. And on the, what normally with the plunger, it was They say it was like some kind of, it was not the actual gas it was supposed to be, but it was like something like a tear gas, but I think they just used dry ice for the demonstration. So you have the idea of an adaptable creature, and like I said, this isn't necessarily our Earth, and because of everything that's happened, we're actually that planet, that Earth that exists in the Doctor Who universe is a little bit more advanced now. So the idea of having automatons that could be programmed and be security, and have the AI in that to be, hey, you know what? Let's let these non-biological, pure computer programmable. Here's the kill switch. You can remote control them. Yeah, okay. I mean, we all know from watching anything involving smart computers that that has its own set of problems. But Robertson's character was not building a Dalek army. He was building a set of security drones, which is more than you can say for Churchill. Leo, his assistant, found, because he got the original prototype, the one from the previous special, and broke it down to its atoms, and he found biological matter, which he then grew. Leo, you're an idiot. It's the Doctor. Okay, skipping forward, the Doctor does kind of forgive him. She's like, look, it wasn't your fault. You didn't realise. You're curious human. Fine, we'll help you. And that doesn't end well for him. But she was understanding. Not only did he grow a Dalek mutant, he plugged it into the neural net. Now, again, I will give Robertson some due here. He saw that creature. He was rightly like, "What the creep is?" No. This is not what I paid you for. Get rid of it. And so, you see Leo put it into the. So on the initial basis, Robertson recognises that this creature isn't what I wanted, and it's creeping me out. I'm getting a bad juju from it. Get rid. So he does. He goes to take it. Leo takes it to an incinerator. It's in this like big case. So you got metal inside, you got glass. You can see it, and all liquid. So I'm like, oh, is he just going to chuck the whole thing in? Will that work in the kit? No, he opens a flap, and of course that's when the creature attacks him and attaches to him and makes him his puppet, like with the previous special. So that works out well. They go to Osaka, and it turns out that the mutant, because it got plugged into the network, because it got given access, because it's a genius, it's basically started growing its own mutants. There's a creepy thing we find out later on, which I'll just tell you now. So we see basically like a big columns, a bit like the Matrix. These pods all like on the it's like a square column. Well, yeah, square column going all the way up, and there's like pods on each side. And there's this weird liquid stuff that when they're investigating, Yaz says we need to analyze this, find out what it is. Yeah, it's liquefied human. They are feeding the Daleks liquefied human to keep them sustained. Ew. So yeah, Jack. So yeah, Leo. That's how Leo screws up. He accidentally unleashes hell. Not Robertson's fault. And as I say, the Doctor kind of forgives Leo because, hey, you're human, you're curious. We can fix this. So Jack. So we obviously know the Doctor is in prison. We don't know how long she's been in prison exactly, but she says later on says decades. Jack rescues the Doctor. So the second time we see her go through her daily routine, she sees a silence. She says, oh, I keep forgetting you're there. Oh, hello. How's it going? And then you hear this voice. So, what about this face? And it's Jack. And he has this ball. He gives a tech explanation what this like blue ball is. But he said, I would have just called it an escape ball. And essentially what it does is it creates a bubble of time around them so they can pass through walls and go through this and that. but it only does it for a certain amount of time. You know, so I think, yeah, freezes time locally, but inside the bubble you're still fine. So he activates the bubble. They basically leg it. He's like, they're chatting, they're running, they're chatting. And he goes left, they're turning. And she's like, "You've got work done." I said, "You can talk." He's like, all right, talk about it later. He's very chill. Like, I don't know if he ever saw a picture of her in a new form. Or I guess he just knew that it was her because of her reputation. He said he committed crimes to get into that prison, and possibly more than he should have, and she's trying to admonish him. I was like, let's not talk about this now. Let's not get the moral high ground while I'm rescuing you. So that's quite a fun scene. He's got a his wrist vortex manipulator, and she's like, "How do you stick that in here?" And he's like, "Do you really want to know?" He's like, "Oh, okay." So they vortex out, goes back to the TARDIS. They have a bit of a catch up, hugs and all that. So yay, Jack's back. Yeah, he has some good moments actually. I like Jack in this episode. He's happier. He's more settled with himself. Christ knows how old he is by this point. I think he's counting it by the millennia now. If we count in Ice Age, it's even less. Points if you get that reference. So yeah, Jack has quite a few moments with the team. So the Doctor takes them back to the new TARDIS, like the one that's the house. No, they take straight back to the normal house. And they're all, because like Yaz and the boys are just basically like going through some stuff because they've already confronted Robertson at least once, and he's like, just don't even. Yeah, so they come out. She's, "I was in space prison," and then Yaz pushes her like, "Where you been?" And I'm like, "How long has it been? A week? 2 weeks? 10 months? Okay." And like Jack pokes out the door. "I was in space prison, and guess who rescued her?" That was cute. So Jack kind of hangs back, lets them all have their moment. Like, you know, she's kind of angry. Like, "I'm sorry, I didn't realise. You know, I thought I was set to." And Graham's like, "Yeah, but your machine isn't exactly perfect with the timekeeping and everything, is it?" She's like, "All right." And then they're like, "Okay, so what's new?" And they're like, "Daleks," and her and Jack are like, so they let them know what's going to be going on. Jack has a moment of explaining his history with them and how he becomes immortal, which is basically her fault, and you know, her old, you know, their old friend Rose, who's now living in another dimension. What? There's a person you've ever in another dimension? What? So that's kind of, you know, like I said, the exposition isn't too dumpy because it is, as the audience, it's stuff you already know, but it's from years. Bloody hell. Yeah, 15 years ago. Blimey. Yeah. So it is like stuff the audience already knows, but it is kind of an exhibition dump that it doesn't take that long. It catches up anyone who might be new to the show, but it also catches up the new companions because they don't know this stuff. There's a nice scene. So the Dalek pods are in Osaka, and Robertson has an office in Osaka, or in Japan anyway. So they drop Jack and Yaz off where the Daleks are being grown, and then they go and see Robertson. So Robertson's actually like, "Look, this is what I'm doing," and they're actually 3D printing the drones. They're actually there's no room inside for the creatures, and they even shows the Doctor, "Look, there's nothing there. It's all automatic. There's the remote switch." It's like, "Yeah, but you're still growing the thing." "No, I don't have a place. I don't have an office in Osaka." Well, something does. Yeah, it turns out that the Dalek had basically taken all this knowledge because he got into the network and you used numbers, and that's where you find out about the humans being liquefied, because it's like, "Oh, I hired people, but then I didn't need them anymore, so I used them to feed the hair." So that's the thing. Yeah, so Jack and Yaz have really nice moments together actually, because they're like, she's all upset. And Jack reads into this because, like I said, we don't know how old Jack is now. He's pretty wisdom a student by now, and he's like, well, you know, I can tell from the way you push her, you had all this built up resentment and all this thing. And like, you told that from a show. I've got my history, and that's Jack's actually really kind of cool because he's talking about the Doctor as he knew him. So it's like, oh yeah, when I travelled with him, I was, you know, this and that, but now she. So Jack really does flips between the genders, like you know, it's like a liquid, which is very cool. I still don't know if they should be now referring to the previous Doctors as they, or actually sticking to the he. Real world example, my ex is trans, and she, you know, obviously when I was dating them, they were identifying as a male who was self-identifying as a transvestite at the time. This is like 20 odd years ago. Transvestite was still the used term, and that's how they were identifying. That was a terminology that they used. She is now in transition and, you know, I think she's got a GRC. She's got definitely changed her name on her driver's license and all that. So yeah, when I'm talking about her in the current sense, it is her. And when I refer to her in the past sense, like when I was dating them, I use they them, because that's how I differentiate. So, and other people have said, like when Elliot Page came out, that you should just always refer to, even in the past, as he or them. Like, all right, but actually that's a bad example because Elliot Page is binary trans. So, 1 second. Hello. Sorry about that. My partner came through to. We always have to get to the loo, and he always has to go into the kitchen first. I've never understood that. But anyway, where was I? Yes, Jack and Yaz had a sort of nice back and forth between them. Jack's explaining his history with the Doctor and using they them pronouns. Yes, that's it. Because I was talking about my ex-boyfriend, and I was about to explain that I did see her somewhat recently. And asked her, hey, look, if I ever have to refer to you, because at the time I was doing my 365-day self-challenge, like a video a day. And, you know, there's a few times where it's like, oh, you refer to past events and people. And it's like, if I have to refer to you in the past tense, like when we were dating, is it all right if I refer to you as my boyfriend? And she was like, well, yeah, because that's what I was at the time. So, yes. That's why I refer to my trans woman ex-boyfriend as ex-boyfriend, because she said that it was cool for me to do so. And yeah, Elliot Page being a non-binary trans person doesn't necessarily solve the argument of like using their current pronoun in the present tense and then they them in the past tense. So maybe it's just a personal preference. Feel free to leave any kind of commentary you have on that. But yes, Jack referring to the Doctor that he knew as him and the Doctor he knows now as her, and switching between very easily. Cool, good for you, Jack. So yeah, they set bomb. Like, so this is when Yaz is like looking at the liquid. She's like, Jack's like, "You gonna help me?" I said, "We need to know what this liquid is, so we know what to, you know, how to deal with them." And he's like, "I know how to deal with them. Blow them up." He's got these little about yay big. They're like, kind of, you know, like cap on each end, glowy liquid in between. I'm trying to think, like, I think like an old school fuse, like a big fuse, but with glowy stuff in it. Yeah, like a glow stick, like with little glow stick with caps on each side. So yeah, basically they set those all around. They bring the Doc and the boys bring Robertson and say, "Look, what's all this then?" Okay, so the TARDIS is always supposed to be, you know, you go here, you leave here, you wind up there, and it's supposed to be instantaneous. There are a few scenes where you see the crew travelling a little bit, but it's usually just a couple of moments in the thing, and that's usually for longer journeys, like if they're going to another planet or another time zone. They were literally going from here to here. Like, in terms of, I'm not sure exactly, like I said, the facilities in Osaka, and then Robertson's office is just outside Osaka. That's because I don't have a place in Osaka. And, but yeah, they're still basically going from one part of Japan to the next part of Japan. But it takes them 4 minutes because it gives the Doc and Ryan a chance to have a catch up and have a little chat. And he's like, you know, I've grown up. I've things have happened to me. I've getting becoming a stronger person myself. My friends need me and all this, but I missed you. You know, you're a good person too. I'm glad you're well, but which spoilers kind of leading up to so I knew. Yeah, okay, we're in the spoiler zone. Doesn't matter if I jump around. I knew that Bradley Walsh was leaving. I wasn't sure about any of the others. Like, I think I knew Mandip was staying, but Tosin I didn't know about. Yeah, so they both leave. And that's cool. So, yeah. So basically, what happens is they confront. They find Leo, and that's when the doctor said, "Look, it's not your fault. It is a little bit your fault, but you didn't know. You were curious. It's fine. But we can fix it." And the Dalek controlling him is like, "How you give this human too much hope?" The doctor's like, "Well, there's something going on. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And Brad's like, "The light's changing colour because it's green, and it's slowly changing to a purple that goes from blue, goes to purple. Why is this a problem? Why is this Oh crap! Ultraviolet!" And basically use the ultraviolet. Never quite explained, but they use the ultraviolet light to transport themselves into the units because they said, "How many do you even make?" Or thousands, because 3D printing. You know, it's like, okay, fine. So you see them all get transferred in, and then like all the places they were. So this is the thing that made me laugh. So when they the PM came out and made the announcement, "Hey, look, these new droids are going to help keep security in areas." They have a scene where, pretty sure for the sake of the episode to have what they needed, this particular moment was set up somewhat. But it's a scene of, I think it's supposed to be the Tower of London or something like that. On people taking pictures of Dalek and have a couple of selfies. If you put any kind of Dalek model anywhere in the UK, people are going to take pictures of it and have selfies taken. That's just going to happen. So, for the episode just to have the control and get the shot they need, I think it was probably set up. But they could have had that thing sat there for a couple of days and just had people, visit it and had a couple of cameras on it and see what people did. So, if I saw a Dalek somewhere, I'd be like, one, like maybe checking that there isn't cameras around, like I'm not interfering with the shot, but then two, like, hey, cool, Dalek can take pictures. So yeah, that's the thing that I would do. In fact, I've been to conventions where people have had their own model Daleks and have had selfies taken or pictures taken with them. So yeah, it's a thing people do, especially in the UK. So what we now have, all these security drones that were supposed to just be robots have the creatures, the Dalek mutants, beam into them and basically go nuts everywhere and blow everyone up and start killing everyone. How do you solve this? Well, if you're the Doctor, you use the nuclear option. The nuclear option is more Daleks. Yeah. Actually, it's not a terrible plan. So we do know that the Daleks are Puritans, and she actually makes a point. It's like, well, considering that they're mutants to begin with, in the first place, yeah, they're kind of puritanical. So she gets what she describes, like the Dalek attack force. She drives the SS Daleks, and sends a signal out and says, "Hey, you guys, you might want to check out what's happening on Earth right now." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, let's have a look. Oh, hang on, that's not proper Dalek DNA." So you got the bronze, regular Daleks fighting the black and silver. And I have to say, I do like the look. I do like the look of the skinnier Dalek, the black shell with the silver accenting. I really like it. I think it's a really good look for them. And then obviously you've got the blue light for when they're good, and the red light for when they're bad, which is kind of a traditional thing. I'm currently playing Age of Calamity, and well, if you've played if you've played that or Breath of the Wild, you know that, you know, when the Sheikah Tech is good, it's blue. When the Sheikah Tech is bad, it's red. And in standby mode, it's orange. Yeah, so kind of a traditional thing. I'm not sure when that started, but they actually do that, and when it switches from the blue to red, it actually looks really cool. So I did like that. So yeah, they basically send the SS Daleks to destroy the cloned, designed Daleks, and then they're like, well, okay, so they can get rid of them all, but then what happens? Well, that's phase 2. Phase 2 basically say, hey Jack, how do you feel about having going onto the Dalek command ship? So do I get to blow it up? Yeah, that's my kind of plan. And the boy's like, we'll come with you. Well, Ryan's like, we'll come with you. And Graham's like, will we? Said, yeah, why not? You know, it's about what you said, saving the world. Yeah, fair enough. So he gives them a string of bombs each, and Ryan just sort of takes them, and Graham's handling like they're liquid nitric. Yeah, it is nitroglycerin. Yeah, that's one. Nitroglycerin. They're not, but that's how Graham's handling them. Like, don't touch. So yeah, Jack beams them onto the ship. They set things around, and this is where, because previously Robertson, they said, look, the SS Daleks cannot know that it was the Doctor that sent the signal because, hey, I have a history with the Daleks too. We don't get on. There's a whole thing. Just a bit. So yeah, he basically sells her out. He gets himself on board. Because they land on one of the bridges. I can never remember which one bridge it is. I think it's London Bridge. Because I think Tower Bridge is the one that's the fancier one. It's the stripped down one. I don't know the bridges in London. I apologise. So yeah, he basically leaves her then. Gets basically does the take me to your leader. It's kind of funny. They're like, would you betray your own people? And, yeah, sure. So yeah, they're planting all the bombs. Jack said, when the boys go on board, they said, that's command center, don't go that way. You know what to do? He said, yep, spread it up, blow them up. Excellent. Jack sees Robertson and he's like, oh, crap. They manage to rescue him. They get him off the ship, but then it was like, oh, so we can blow up the ship, but then we've still got all these other Daleks around the planet. What are we gonna do? And you have this great scene of the Doctor with the blue box in space, floating in the air, like, hey, Daleks, yo, me, come and check me out. And it's actually kind of an awesome scene. So they're all spinning around and flying around, and so, come on then, what are you gonna do? I'm here. And they all fly into the TARDIS. So it's great to see they're all hundreds and hundreds of Daleks flying into the TARDIS, and that's kind of cool. And he's like, we have you now, Doctor. I said, do ya? So, what they do, it all has to be timed perfectly, is they say to Jack, right, blow them when we say, and but you have to wait for our signal. So Jack and the boys are waiting to the signal, and Jack gets that, that superhero line, like, I'm Jack Harkness, I'm immortal. So that does that. Then the hologram of the Doc comes on. Oh, sorry, I have a spare TARDIS. I switched the chameleon circuit to make it look like my TARDIS, but it's not actually my TARDIS. And basically what's going to happen now is it's going to collapse in on itself and then send you to the middle of the vortex where you're going to get ripped apart. Brutal. And actually has a crunchy thing going on. Ooh, thing. Yeah. So that's how they solve the problems with the Daleks. I'm starting to run out of time. So, wrap it up quickly. They all come together. We get a scene with Jack over the phone saying, hey, I've been catching up with Gwen, and her kid just took out a Dalek. She took out a Dalek with a scooter and her kid's boxing gloves. So that was fun. I'm going to stick around on Earth for a little while, catch up with everyone. All right, cool. Love to Gwen. Couple little cozy moments with everyone together. And that's when Ryan, so she said we're going to go to the Meringue Galaxy. It's not a galaxy, it's a restaurant where everything's meringue. Every course is meringue, all the furniture, and even the wait stuff. And Graham's like, yeah. And Yaz is like, yeah. So yeah, Ryan makes a decision not to come. Which means Graham's in well, I can't not be with you. I don't want to miss out on you growing up. He said, well, I'm a grown up now. I can do this for myself. And he's like, nah, I'll come out. And Ryan's like, okay, cool, but I'm kind of looking forward to having a place myself. So they leave. The Doctor's kind of heartbroken, but she said, but yeah, Yaz is staying. And Ryan's like, oh, you're not that dick up. So I have two hearts. One's happy, one's sad. You're like, oh, that's kind of cute. So yeah, we got Team Doc and Yaz on the ship, and they're all happy, and then it actually ends with a throwback to the original episode where we meet the team, with Graham trying to help Ryan learn to ride a bike on the hill, and he actually gets further, and you're like really happy for him. And they have a moment where they see an image of Grace, and you don't know if it's real or just in their minds, or they both see it or what, but it's Grace smiling at them and being all happy. So yeah, that's basically what happens. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I like the acting. I like the fact that Jack is still on Earth, so the possibility of him coming back at some point again is there. It's kind of seeded. I'm gonna say it now. I think Yaz is bi for the Doctor. I don't know. I'm not gonna say she's straight up gay because, one, she's shown interest in guys before, and two, I don't want bi erasure. It's my people. Whether or not they ever actually do anything about that, is a whole other thing. But the way that Yaz seems to be reacting, and especially the way she shoved the Doctor when he was like, "Why don't you come back?" I think she may have I think she may have a bit of a girl crush on there. With regards to the one I mentioned earlier, I looked up John Bishop's IMDb whilst my partner was going to the loo, and yeah, he has actually got some acting credits, including Accused, which, fun fact, also has Chris Eccleston in an episode, but not the same ones that Mr. Bishop is in. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I'm not sure when the next episodes are going to be. We just know there are going to be more episodes. Obviously, with everything still happening, I think they have been able to shoot a couple, but they're doing less because of like the COVID restrictions. My God, these lights don't last very long, do they? Yeah. Overall, I liked it. It was fun. Nice to have the Doctor back, especially since we don't know when we're going to see her again. It was good. Would recommend. My throat's starting to hurt. I need something to soothe it, and I'm running out of time before it goes to second file. So, if you have been, thank you for watching. I appreciate. Let me know if you watched it, what you thought. If you didn't watch it and you decided to watch this review anyway, what did you think of this? Is this something you enjoy? Anything I missed that you think should be discussed? Because I think I just hit on the main points, but not necessarily the full blow by blow, because I'm just trying to not do that so much anymore, because I think it gets a bit more waffly. But yeah, I liked it. Hope you liked it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have made it all the way to the end of this quite long video now, thank you for watching. You all the awesome people. I've been Michelle, you've been watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Happy New Year!